Alright everybody, the NBA season starts today, so I thought I would give a little prediction of where which team finishes in the NBA regular season, and we're gonna start in the East from the bottom up with the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, the Brooklyn Nets traded Mikal Bridges, and they didn't really add too many exciting players. I think maybe Bojan Bogdanovic could make something happen. But yeah, without Mikal Bridges and with Ben Simmons' health always being in question, he is healthy now, but we'll see how long that lasts. I would probably rank them dead last in the East. I think for them not to come last, I think Ben Simmons will need a all-star caliber season. Okay, next, the Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards did pick Alex Sarr, who didn't look too great in the summer league, but hey, that's maybe not really indicative of how he's gonna be. They added Jonas Valanciunas, which I think is pretty exciting, but outside of that, I think it's still for the most part the same team. They lost some good players like Tyus Jones, for example. So yeah, Wizards, in my opinion, same thing as last year, come second to last in the East. Then we have the Detroit Pistons. I actually have them moving up a bunch, mainly due to the addition of Tobias Harris, who I think could actually be a bit of a floor raiser for them. Also, the big coaching change, bringing in JB Bickerstaff, getting Monty Williams out, seems like a necessary move. Seems like something that could help them. I think it would make sense. And then moving on to the Bulls. The Bulls are very interesting because they got rid of DeMar DeRozan, who is like kind of their best player. At the same time, they're gonna get back Lonzo Ball, who's finally healthy again after missing 2 seasons. So it's kind of hard to rank them as a bit of a question mark, but I don't really know how the whole team's gonna work out. But yeah, Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball, I don't know if they're gonna make too much happen. Probably not. They also lost Andre Drummond, who was their backup center, who I thought, at times might have been better than Vucevic. Anyhow, yeah, I see the Bulls actually going closer to the bottom this year, which is maybe a step in the right direction. I don't need to start over, blow it up, and then go from there. Okay, after that, Charlotte Hornets. Hornets, I really like Brandon Miller. I think he's actually really good. The pick, I think, so far has been the right one. Other than that, can't say too much great stuff about the Hornets. Didn't really make too many great moves in the offseason, mostly like actually creating cap space. They were the 3rd team in the Karl Anthony Towns trade. Took on a lot of contracts. Yeah. They're kind of reliant on how well LaMelo Ball performs, and he's just been injured a lot. I think they might be a little better than last year, but I still see them missing the play-in. I'm not really too high on the Hornets. Then we have the Raptors. I think the Raptors are going to be better than last year, even though they're going to start the season. They're going to play a full season without OG and without Siakam. Mainly because I think like the tri-core whatever of Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, and Scotty Barnes is actually going to probably work out fairly well. That being said, I think they are very dependent on the health of their center, Jakob Poeltl, because if he misses time, I think it's gonna be really, really rough for the Raptors. But yeah, I think they're gonna be better than last year because they're gonna click better. I think also some of the teams in the East are just flat out worse. The whole East is kind of a race to the bottom for like the most part. I think there's some really, really bad teams this year, and I actually think ranking the bottom of the East is kind of harder than ranking everything else. Okay, the Atlanta Hawks. They got the first pick in the draft. Unfortunately, many people are saying this is not the best draft. That might be a little overstated, but at the same time, yeah, maybe not amazing. Where would I put the Hawks at 9th, which is very similar to where they were last year. They did trade DeJounte Murray, but I think it might be addition by subtraction. I don't think him and Trey worked well together at all. I feel like the big question mark still is Clint Capella and the center position. We're going to have to see how that develops, but I have the Hawks at 9. Miami Heat decided to run it back and be like, you know what? We lost in the first round, but we still believe in the squad. This 8th seed it could be in jeopardy. Like, if Jimmy Butler decides to coast the regular season again, if he misses time, they could easily slide down a little further. Their only notable addition is Alec Burks, and they did lose a bunch of players, so the team did not get better by any means. So unless like Jimmy has a crazy year, I don't really know. I don't really know what's gonna happen with the Heat. Probably not gonna be better than last year though. Okay, the Sixers. The Sixers are actually a team I think got better, but I didn't move them up in the standings. They finished as the 7th seed last year as well. The reason I didn't do that is because both Paul George and Joel Embiid are injured to start the season. That's my understanding at least, and they are both very injury prone. I'm expecting them to miss a bunch of time. They already ruled out Joel Embiid playing back-to-backs. He's probably only gonna play like 60 games or something. So I just don't think they will do too well in the regular season. Come playoff time, we'll see. I think they made some nice moves. Eric Gordon, Reggie Jackson. There's some good players that they picked up. But yeah, Andre Drummond as well, I think I like as a backup center. But that's pretty much it. Milwaukee Bucks. I'm banking a lot on Giannis to do well. I think the Bucks could easily be lower. Chris Middleton is also out to start the season. The only reason that's not too worrying to me is because they've actually played a bunch with him out and they weren't too bad. That being said, under Doc Rivers' tenure, I think the whole team has gotten a bit worse and they kind of feel like lost a bit. The Dame trade, for example, I don't know if it like was the right move. And it like maybe it'll work, like maybe the synergy just needs to be built, but Dame looks like a shell of his former self a lot of the times. So yeah, have the Bucks at 6. All right, Pacers. Pacers did make the Eastern Conference Finals, but that being said, they went through a pretty like it went through 2 pretty injured teams and then obviously got completely obliterated by the Celtics. I think they're a good team, but maybe not the best regular season team. Also, Tyrese Halliburton tends to miss a bunch of time. He tends to be injured. So yeah, that's why I only have them at the 5th seed. Orlando Magic, I think, got better, adding KCP, not really losing anything. They're a very young team. They're only going to get better. So yeah, I have them as the 4th seed. They could maybe even go higher. They're kind of a dark horse in the East, I'd say. Cavs also, I think, got better. They did make a coaching change, replacing JB Bickerstaff with Kenny Atkinson. We'll see how that works out, but I think Kenny Atkinson was generally liked as the Nets head coach, and I think is probably a good coach. Might be an upgrade. We'll see. Yeah. Then this is probably controversial. I have the Boston Celtics as the 2nd seed. Why? Because Kristaps Porzingis is also out to start the year, and he's also just like super injury prone. I don't see him playing too many games this year. They've done fairly well without him, but I think the top of the East might be a little more difficult this year. So yeah, I would only have them as the 2nd seed. I actually put the Knicks as the 1st seed. I wouldn't have done this unless the Karl-Anthony Towns trade happened, because then they would have been without a starting center really, with Mitchell Robinson still being injured. But yeah, this and the Bridges trade, I think they're going to have some insane defense. I think this might be the best starting 5 in the league. We'll see. I think as much as I love Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo, I think the spacing with Towns just makes a lot more sense for Jalen Brunson. Maybe will allow him to go to another level if he doesn't have to, like, if he can't get doubled permanently. Maybe he will get doubled permanently and just like kick it out for people to score. Missing Dante DiVincenzo there, obviously, but I think it could be quite good for the Knicks. Okay, that's the East. Moving on to the West. In last, like last year, I have the Portland Trailblazers. Yeah, I think the Blazers, I mean, they're kind of building in the right direction, but at the same time, I don't know if they have too much going for them. A few draft picks were kind of questionable. Yeah, I still have them coming dead last. Utah Jazz really didn't make any moves at all. I think they might be sellers at the deadline. I could very much see Markkanen or Kessler being moved if somebody puts up the right price. At 13, this might be shocking. I have the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry is still amazing, but, you know, Chris Paul's gone. Klay Thompson is gone. And I think they're really important to the team, even if Klay didn't look super good. But Chris Paul's on-off was actually amazing. And he's not there anymore. So I think the non-Curry minutes could get really brutal. We'll see what Moody and Kuminga do, but I think there's like they're kind of missing like the presence of those players that they left, and they're gonna be the West is kind of the opposite of the East, where I think it's very, very competitive even at the bottom. Like there's like maybe like the Jazz and the Blazers might be two teams that are like looking towards tanking, and the rest are probably looking to win. Warriors, I don't really know, but we'll see. All right, then we have the San Antonio Spurs. I think they're gonna get better with Chris Paul. You know, having a true point guard for Wembanyama, I think might make a huge difference. So yeah, I think they're just flat out better now. Probably not there yet in terms of the youth movement. Stephon Castle, also very interesting prospect. We'll see how that works out. They might this could be easily could be a team that could place higher than I have them right now, but for now they're at 12. Okay, Sacramento Kings. I have them missing the play-in, which is kind of crazy, but I'm not the biggest DeRozan believer. I don't know how he fits next to Fox. I do think Domantas Sabonis is good, but I feel like I don't know. I don't really see that that trio making too much happen in the Western Conference. I have the Lakers at 10. At this point, it's mainly just Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Big change. JJ Redick, first-time head coach, never been an assistant or anything in the NBA. It's kind of an insane swing. We'll see how it works out. Dalton Knecht, I think, is probably a really exciting pick. People are calling him the steal of the draft. Could be very promising. We'll see. But I don't think the Lakers have too much going for them, really. They kind of, like, just get older. So, yeah. Unless JJ Redick is, like, amazing out of the gate as a coach, I don't really see them doing too well. Next, we have the Clippers. Clippers obviously lost Paul George, but that's not all. Kawhi is also injured again, so it's just James Harden running the show. And I think, yeah, that is going to be pretty rough. We'll see when Kawhi comes back, if he comes back, but he's just like always injured. So I don't really have the Clippers doing too well. Okay, at 8, I have the Rockets. This is a bit of a dark horse pick, or like I think a team that might be underrated. I think they were gaining a lot of traction towards the end of the season. I think their young players are continuing to get better. Jalen Green, I'm not entirely sold on, but he's shown flashes. He's capable for sure. He might put it together. We'll see. I'm big on Şengün. And I think they, Ime Udoka is really building something there. So I have them at the 8th seed. Number 7, New Orleans Pelicans. A team that maybe has gotten better. The DeJounte Murray trade. I think losing Valanciunas hurts. But there's some really good young players. And I think they're also very well coached. I think they're great at defense. I think they would probably be our last play-in team. Then at number 6, I have the Memphis Grizzlies. They did give up Steven Adams a season ago, but Zach Edey has actually in preseason looked really, really good. He looks NBA ready. He could be a big contributor right away. And with Ja Morant coming back, I'm cautiously optimistic about the Grizzlies. I think they could be the 6th seed. Okay, the Mavericks. The Mavericks went to the finals. Again, I don't really know how to gauge them. This is roughly where they finished in the regular season last year as well. They just I'm not entirely sure how Klay Thompson will fit into the lineup. Like I said, or no, I'm a big fan of the Grimes acquisition. I think he's kind of a candidate to maybe like take Klay's starter spot later down the line, because he's a great defender. He's young. Also, when he gets his touch back, when he's if his shooting is good, I think he's actually really amazing. So yeah, but other than that, I'm not really sure about the fit yet. So we'll see how it works out. But I have them as the 5th seed. Okay, Phoenix Suns. This might be a team I have too high, but I feel like under Coach Budenholzer, they might just put it together if they're all healthy. Big if. I'm really not sold on Bradley Beal still. I think it might be the worst contract on the league, but I think they actually rounded up the roster a little better. Tyus Jones, I think, is a great pickup. So I expect them to actually do quite well. But I think this might, if this year it doesn't go well, I think we're gonna see a complete implosion. This is like kind of the last chance for the Phoenix Suns, I feel like. Okay, Third seed, Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets lost KCP, and then they maxed everyone else. They maxed Murray, they maxed Aaron Gordon. It's kind of a weird spot because Murray looked pretty bad in the postseason, and then he looked really bad in the Olympics, and then he got the max. I don't know. He's more of a playoff performer, but I still think Jokic is probably good enough to carry them to a really good regular season record. But other than that, I don't have him better than the Timberwolves and OKC. Okay, 2 seed, Timberwolves. They did make a big trade, getting rid of Karl-Anthony Towns. They had their best run in forever and said, you know what? Let's shake it up. This might have been a cap move. That's what a lot of people are calling it with the new CBA. That they just needed to clear cap space. It wasn't possible to keep the roster together much longer. They're really banking on Naz Reid to do a lot this year. But I do think Julius Randle is criminally underrated. I think Dante DiVincenzo is a great fit. And Anthony Edwards is probably only going to get better. So yeah, I have them as a 2 seed. And then number 1, OKC. They just flat out got better. They addressed their center problem with Isaiah Hartenstein, who I think is amazing. He's, I think, really, really versatile as a center. And they added Alex Caruso, great defender, absolute steal. And yeah, the only concern is that Hartenstein is out to start the season, injured. But I think they're just like so deep and so young and good that they'll probably like still be the 1st seed. Okay, those are my preseason rankings. I'm gonna maybe just zoom out a bit so you can see the entire list. Yeah. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.